if you take away nothing else from my class, from this experience, let it be this. If you're not a genius, don't bother, all right? The world needs plenty of electricians, and a lot of them are happy. I'll be fucked if I'll be a mid-list novelist getting good reviews from the people I give good reviews to.
The first time I came across this scene, it broke me into pieces. At that time, I just come from a music concert in my school where I saw an upcoming rapper destroy every opponent in a rap battle. The host would throw out words, and the rappers were expected to spin rhymes on the spot. Most of them leaned on gimmicks and theatrics to cover for a lack of lyrical depth, but someone did not. He didn't shout, he didn't dance, he did not clown around. He just stood still, calm and composed, and delivered a performance that shows he was level above everyone else on that stage. The combination of this and the movie scene wrecked me because it felt like proof of exactly what the character was arguing about. That talent isn't democratic. You either have it or you don't. I grew up as a church boy, and I was taught that everybody has a divine purpose, a calling that we were put on this earth to do. But as I've gotten older, I've become agnostic, and I'm slowly coming to the term with the possibility that some of us might just exist. We will try, we'll fail, we'll repeat, but we'll remain painfully average. Watching that rapper, I found myself wondering what made him so good. Was he destined for this? Was he raised in a musical household? Or was it a combination of trauma, luck, and intense hours of practice? And let's assume it's a product of design or destiny. What about everyone else on that stage? Why do they suck? And will they suck forever? If you're a philosophy person like me, you've probably run into the idea of determinism. The argument is that success isn't just the product of free will and hard work. It is the inevitable outcome of a chain of causes that came before you, such as your genetics, your environment, your upbringing, and even your chain of luck. And from that angle, one can argue that success and talent is not something you earn, but more like a chaotic lottery, decided by where you were born and the timing of the circumstances you never choose. The author, Malcolm Gladwell, makes this case well in his book Outliers, through the story of two geniuses, Christopher Langan and Robert Oppenheimer. Most people know of Robert as the father of atomic bomb, but a lot of people are not familiar with who Christopher Langan is. He is a man of an IQ of 195, which is 30% higher than that of Albert Einstein. As a child, he was talking before he was 1, he was reading fluently by 3, and was questioning the existence of God by 5. He aced his SAT exam despite falling away partway through the test, taught himself math, philosophy, and multiple languages, and also reportedly skimmed a textbook minutes before an exam starts, and still walked away with a perfect score. However, Langan was born in a poor home that was often marked by instability and an absent and often abusive father. He eventually got a scholarship at Reed College, but it fell apart because his mother failed to sign a piece of paperwork that will aid his finances, and nobody stepped in to fix it. Langan simply lost the scholarship. Then he drifted between factory jobs, construction sites, and eventually settled into life as a bar bouncer, and eventually an horse rancher in rural United States. Oppenheimer, on the other hand, who was just as intellectually gifted as Langan, was born into wealth. He was the son of a successful businessman and a painter. He attended an elite private school and was often encouraged to question authority was grown deliberately in the heart of navigating powerful rooms. And the difference between these two people showed up at their respective colleges. Just like Langan, Oppenheimer was also frustrated with his tutor and he attempted to poison him. This should have ended his career, but instead, he talked his way into probation and a psychiatrist instead of expulsion. Years later, he used that the same gift for persuasion to convince General Leslie Groves to hand him control of the Manhattan Project, despite being younger and less experienced than the physicists around him. Psychologists call this gift practical intelligence. It is not how smart you are, but whether you know what to say, to whom to say it, when to say it, and how to get what you want. Gladwell pointed this out. He said, the difference between Oppenheimer and Langan wasn't in their raw intellect, it was their upbringing. Because they both equally had rare minds, they were equally both gifted, but they had two entirely different worlds waiting to receive them. Now, back to our purpose. If the universe already mapped out a path for us, if, like Malcolm Gladwell argue, our circumstances are largely decided by who we become, should we just do the things that come naturally to us and let the rest go? I mean, the self-help industry has built an entire philosophy around this idea. Play to your strengths, double down on what you're already good at, optimize for what comes easy. But what about those of us who don't know what we are good at, or who aren't sure whether we are good at anything at all? I think people who reach greatness fall into two categories. Some are built for it by nature, by circumstances, or whatever you call it, while some had to fight and struggle to hustle their way there. The second camp, through hard work and consistency and an insane number of practice, believe that talent is overrated and discipline is the real skill. Then there are those who believe that everyone has something they're naturally built for, a divine talent, if you want to call it that. So why waste years frustrated chasing something that doesn't come naturally to you? They believe that if you put that energy into things that are already yours, then the results will be different. Those people, they tell you to find your gift, sharpen it, and then make that your masterpiece. Now, I personally want to argue that both positions aren't mutually exclusive, even if I don't know how to. But here's what I do know. Humans are meaning maker. Some are born ready, while the rest of us have to build our meaning brick by brick, showing up every day, choosing over and over again who we are going to become. One of such stories that stuck with me is that of Charles Bukowski. He got his first story published at the age of 24 in a respected magazine, the same magazine that launched writers like Langan. He thought it was the beginning of something. Instead, the rejection slips kept piling up, years after years, until he gave up entirely and walked away from writing for nearly a decade. A stretch he later called his 10-year drunk. He drifted across the country during that time, working a pickle factory, drifting through cheap rooming houses, drinking hard enough that he nearly died from a bleeding ulcer in his mid-30s. It was only after that near-death experience, recovering in an hospital charity ward, that he picked the pen back up. Even then, it took another decade, filing letters at the post office by day, writing poetry nobody reads by night, before anyone paid attention. He was 49 years old when a small publisher finally offered him a modest monthly salary just to write full-time. 49, not 25. Everything most people know about Bukowski starts after that. There was once a clip of Ed Sheeran I saw where he was playing his earlier recording that was practically unlistenable. Now he's one of the greatest music artists of all time with billions of records sold. So maybe Welbeck's character had a point. Maybe not all of us are born geniuses. But that doesn't mean we should stop bothering. Mediocrity is not a life sentence. It is a stage, one that we can move past, slowly, awkwardly, and imperfectly, as long as we stay in motion. So here's what I'm learning. If you are not a genius, bother anyway.